What's going on?
Some a-hole perp took off and I saw the cops locked her backwards off a stool.
Oh, Jesus.
Head trauma, no LOC.
Okay, you need to get checked out.
I'm fine.
No choice. It's work-related. Let's find her a room and prep her burr hole.
What? Oh. I forgot how much you like to joke. Captain Scurvy. Oh.
Who the hell's Captain Scurvy?
It's an inside thing.
Hello, all. Welcome back to What's On Tonight, a podcast with elaborate, quirky, and unpredictable conversations about TV, movies, and more. I'm Becky.
And I'm Mandy.
And I think I'm Mark. Hi.
You appear to be Mark. This is all through Zoom.
Do I have dementia? I don't know. I kind of resemble some sort of character in this episode.
Yeah.
Well, today we are covering HBO Max's hit show, The Pitt, Season 2, Episode 2, titled 8 a.m. Please note this is a spoiler-filled podcast, so if you haven't watched the episode yet and don't want to be spoiled, just come back and check us out once you've finished. So you heard a very special voice there just a second ago. I'd like to welcome our fearless leader, the man, the myth, the legend behind Pirate Core Entertainment, Mr. Mark Kirkman. Welcome, welcome.
More.
I'm a myth or a legend? What? Jeez.
Yes,
I'm
you
just Mark,
are.
everybody. I'm just Mark.
Apparently a myth and a legend with dementia.
Yeah, exactly.
This guy's multifaceted.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad that you're here with us. Before we get into the episode, we're going to go back and cover some of the feedback that we got on episode 1. But before we start with that, why don't you tell us what your overall thoughts were on the first episode?
Well, the first episode, it kind of gave me that whole feeling like months had gone by. Dr. Robbie comes back. He's on his motorcycle, does his whole thing, shows up at 7 a.m. And we're back into it. Langdon is back, but he's got a whole bunch of reservations based upon him coming back because he was in rehab, apparently. And he's on some sort of work release where he has to take a lower tier job. And a lot of the original attendees are really cool and they've stepped it up a bit, but now they have the new people to contend with. And I really liked it. And the fact that, you got, what's his name? Ogilvy or whatever. Ogilvy. There you go. Yeah, I didn't like him. That's why I got his name wrong. Anyhow, he's like very challenging. Santos is there. She's uncomfortable for Langdon being there. Mel has her own issues she's contending with, also dealing with a lawsuit. And on top of that, all the other stuff that happens within the ER. Langdon, I love Langdon's story in that, of him talking to Louis about stealing his benzos. And on top of that, trying to redeem himself.
I like that too.
I just love that Langdon was trying to make right with what he did wrong. And he's trying to do that with Robbie, and Robbie's kind of brushing him off. But he has a lot of remorse and understanding, but a lot of this is work that he has to work through and build trust again. So, yeah, I think we see that too in episode 2. There was like a whole bunch of things that have happened. The one thing that was like, hey, what happened to what's her name who like cut off her ankle bracelet? That nurse,
Myrna?
I forgot her name.
No, McKay.
McKay,
the
yes.
doctor.
Yeah, Dr. McKay. She winds up doing that because she was on a work release and she had to have that. And then she did that at the end of last season.
Yeah.
What was the outcome of that? We never saw that between these two episodes. Does this come into play? I really want to see this later on in the season. And, we get to see a little bit of things about Mel. And it's so funny, too, because Santos is still calling her Crash. You got other characters and actors that are in there that are amazing, that have grown. And I just love them all. And I loved seeing it from the very beginning. And it's kind of watching it. So anybody who has not watched the first season could actually start off on this season and not know any of these characters, but gives them a little bit of, there's a little bit of history there. I could watch the first season and not have missed much. And I really like that and how they were able to write that in. So I know a lot of people didn't watch it from day one. And I think a lot of people were binge watching it and then jumped right into season 2, which was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that if you didn't want to go back and watch season 1, although I don't know why you wouldn't, you could absolutely start with season 2. And you really, as far as like the relationships of the characters, they'll give you enough context clues that you'll get all of that. But I think that's by the design of the show is that you have to get like little glimmers and glimpses here and there of their private life. It's really mainly about the action of what's going on that day.
Yeah. The one takeaway, though, that I have to state from somebody, and then after this, you guys could move right along into your voicemail. Being somebody who lived in the 5 boroughs of New York, I lived in Staten Island. I had to travel into the city through ferry to subway and into the city. Well, you had that homeless man, and they had the PU stinky situation. I've had that. I got on the subway train, and then a homeless person comes on, and they reek. I mean, nobody could tell you how much it smells. But the way they were able to treat that homeless person was very humane, and how they took care of him. I remembered how bad it is in the way they conveyed it. I could smell it in my nose as I was watching the actors convey that feel. It's like memory. You just go back to it. I had to go 5 stops where this guy was on literally at the end of the train, and then I was on the front of the car, and it reeked, and everybody ran off the next stop and had to go to the next train car. And I was stuck on the car because I couldn't make it in time. And it's sad, but the way they treated him and the way they cleaned him off was very humane, very nice. And it was like, yeah, get the pits where you can't get, and stuff like that.
Very realistic. I mean, I imagine you're not alone, Mark. I imagine that happens a lot.
It happens a lot.
Especially in major cities where there is a large problem with unhoused people. I imagine that's very, very common.
But the humane effort in treating them as a person, that was amazing.
Yeah, I agree. Especially Dana. It really shows her character.
Yeah. All right. That's it. Enough for me.
Let's get into our feedback from episode 1. First up, we have a voicemail from our friend Sam. Let's hear what she thought of the premiere.
Hi, ladies. Oh, so good hearing your voices again, talking about the pit. I know you ladies know how much of a rock stars you are, and it just brought me back to like this really happy place where I'm listening to my friends tell me more about the show and the characters and make me think about storylines differently and just brings more depth into the viewing. So I just wanted to say I just really appreciated that. And I do have some information about the questions you ladies are asking. Yes, technically you cannot drink coffee on the units.
Thank
in
you,
hospitals.
Sam.
You're not allowed to have food or beverages in patient care areas. That is technically a rule. Is it sanitary? Nope, not at all. But then again, if you want sanitary, definitely don't work in a hospital. They try their best with environmental control. It's just this is where germs go to propagate and replicate. So you just kind of have to take that as it is. And I think Robbie talked about it in the first season where these guys don't get breaks. You eat what you can, where you can, when you can. And we're sort of seeing this even in season 2 is that it's challenging to get these breaks in. So you hide the food and beverages when Jaco comes to visit.
Like a restaurant.
Body that is very necessary, and they make sure everything's up to code and sanitary and all that stuff. They serve a very important purpose. I just have a little pet peeve with them because they only show up when they want to, and they completely abandoned all of our medical personnel during COVID when safety and sanitary issues of staff and patients were very, very important. So that's just my little pet peeve about that. And I don't like Dr. Al-Hashimi. I don't care for her character. The actress is so talented and gorgeous and amazing. Her character is a shitty character. Like, she's an attendant. And she's very egotistical. I'm with you, Mandy. I think she has some trauma backgrounds. And she is coming in with this authority and power as someone sent by the administration with also being an attending. And she's coming into this team and trying to change everything. This was her first day. So as a health psychologist, we were trained that when you want to embed yourself into established medical teams as a new person, you never try to make new changes. I mean, it's not rule number one, but it's definitely top 10.
Especially
it's
as a
really
temp.
alienating to an already
that's something I want to talk about later.
well-established team. You
Yeah,
are the new
same here.
person. They don't know you. And so what you do is you sink into the team, you learn their ways, which she's doing a little bit of, and then ask what they would want to have changed. And then you enact those changes. And in doing so, you're cultivating trust with the team. You're cultivating that you're listening. You're getting an insight, an informed decision on changes to make. And it allows you to understand the process and also cultivate buy-in from the staff members down there. She's coming in throwing what she thinks needs to work into a team she's never been into. It's a complete horseshit way to approach teamwork. And we're already seeing problems with her AI technology and her dumb patient pamphlet portals. Okay, if you're going to go and set expectation with how long things are supposed to take in the ER, you better keep it, because they're going to get real mad if you keep them too far along when they expected to leave. And ERs can't really do that. Like, go work in dermatology or cardiology or something, but you can't do that in these high pressure battlefields like the ER is. They have to triage things.
She does not have this trauma center level experience to bring in these changes. Okay, we can get into that in the episode. But
My stomach is nodding up because there's definitely going to be some conflict.
Yes, Mandy, I know the feeling. I have the same feeling.
I am going to have to defend this woman against my dogs, my girls.
Wait. You're going to defend Al?
Yes, I am.
Oh, my God.
Before we do that, let's finish this feedback.
They're going to get pushed behind and they have to kind of just make things work. So it's just very, very stressful. And she's a complete asshole. Like, I really just don't like her character. And STAMP is used in hospitals. We don't use it as much because it relies on primarily one person to do it, and that's not really effective for behavioral issues. We typically call code greens, which are behavioral codes. They get announced on the overspeaker, and then a group of us go and face the person who's being disruptive. And we try to de-escalate from there. But just having a whole group of people confront them, and we're all wearing our uniforms and stuff like that, it's going to help de-escalate the situation and also reduce the chances that this person is going to attack one target, like what happened to poor Dana. I'm also one of the instructors on teaching self-defense for hospital staff. So similar to STAMP, spotting escalating behaviors, tips to de-escalate, and also ways to get out of grabs and holds and protect yourself from strikes, how to get out of bites, and if someone's trying to drag you across the parking lot.
Very good. Thank you, Sam, for answering some of those questions. And I agree with a lot of what you said there. All right. We also got some feedback from the Pirate Core YouTube page on our episode 1 coverage. Mandy, you want to start us off?
At MaryGood733 says, "This is amazing. Thank you for doing the recap. I need to go back and rewatch before Thursday's new episode."
Yeah, that was me. I actually had to rewatch second. Next up would be at Balboa Baby, 1964. One of the things Robbie did to Langdon was to cut him off from interaction with Mel, which means they will interact. Of course.
Of course.
That could be interesting.
And it was.
They do actually interact in episode 2, which was great.
Yep. And our girl at Linda 1541. Great job, ladies. I'll have to rewatch because I missed some things.
Linda. All right. Well, let's get into the episode. Episode 2 was written by Joe Sachs and R. Scott Jamil and directed by Damian Marcano.
No,
it's
you have
Gimmel.
to say that. It's Skimmel, but that's not what I was going to say. You can't say just Damian Marcano.
You have to say it sexy.
Damian Marcano.
Because he has like a sexy name.
Yeah.
All right. So, it was R. Scott Gemmel and directed by Damian Marcano.
I love it.
That was amazing.
Oh, man. Becky, you got to snip that, and every time we have to say his name for the rest of the season.
Just copy that and save it.
Yeah.
And then cue in the disco porno music every.
Oh, Damian, we're sorry.
It's just a great name. It is
Not
a great
sexy name.
name. That's on your parents for giving you that sexy name. Mandy, would you like to read the short synopsis for us this week?
Yes, I would. Distracted by her impending deposition, King suffers a fall. Whitaker oversees fluid removal for frequent flyer patient Louis Cloverfield and repeatedly breaks bad news to a patient with Alzheimer's. Santos is deeply concerned for a patient who shows signs of potential abuse, and Alsha Hashemi attempts to revolutionize the department's technology. Javadi sizes up the competition.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of sizing up too in the episode. It's really weird for guys.
That's my favorite point at the end of chart notes.
That was massive. Okay, we're going to get to that.
We're going to get there. Save it, because that was my favorite part.
But it became flaccid.
Even flaccid. Okay, yeah, we'll save it. All right.
Yeah, we'll talk about that then.
We'll get to the dong.
All right. Before we dive into peen talk, let's start off with Dr. Baran al-Hashimi and our dear Robbie. So we open where we left off, where Dr. Al is still in a trance, and great acting, Samira, by just looking like the rest of us, I'm assuming, sitting on our couches, like, what is the issue here? But she does eventually snap out of it when Princess mentions there's trauma coming in, but we don't leave the episode getting any more information on that. So that's still one of the little mysteries. But what I really liked with these Robbie and Dr. Al interactions was the very interesting conversation where Robbie is telling first McKay, and then he says it to Santos, or maybe vice versa. I don't quite remember the order, but to, trust your gut. And the look of like absolute awe on Dr. Al's face, it just seems to be something she could never do. And it really brought up a very heavy contrast on how those two think things should work. She doesn't hide her disdain for the whole gut thing, and it's all over her face when McKay talks about her patient and what her gut is telling her. But I don't like her, but I don't not like her because of how she is with Robbie. I don't like the two of them together at all, because all they're doing is butting heads. Yeah, neither one of them are helping very yin and yang.
Yeah.
One of my notes that I have here is that they are the grown-up version of Javadi and Ogilvy.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, because they're two children.
Yes.
Literally, because it's like the vice versa of whatever's going on. More passionate with intelligence and feeling for the people, whereas the other one is more calculated based upon the science of everything that's going on. And you can't know everything what's going on. You have to go by feel. Now, this is something that I do at work too, because I work with electronics but feeling with in-house and running wire, a lot of guys go, well, you can't do that. I go on a gut feeling. But if you did it, you would have poked out already, and because you were systematic about it, and you were off by 3 inches.
Right. But I'm going to make a point here. Is it really your gut, or is it experience? Like the first day that you did that job, you wouldn't have made the same choices that you're making now.
But in the medical community, in that way, is knowing the patient and the people and how they are personally. That is the difference between my work and that work. They are dealing with people. It's knowing and feeling out their personality, their feelings, and what's really going on with them physically.
That's part of it, but data matters. Science matters.
Yeah, science does matter. Yes, it does. And that's where Javadi is. And then Ogilvy is like complete old textbook and whatever. But the thing is, sometimes the textbook doesn't dictate what's going to happen on the fly of the moment.
Right. It's a dance between the two of them.
Correct.
Well, it's just confusing to me how she says she wants to shadow him and learn, but then she's constantly wanting to separate from him.
She challenges him.
She wants residents to present. So when they split, which Robbie is fine with because he doesn't want to be around her. But if you're going to be like, I want to follow you and learn, but every time she shows up in a room, it's very contradictory to what she's saying. How she's acting is very contradictory to what she's saying. And then it's like, you want to save time, but you're asking these residents, these very busy people in an emergency department to present. And now they're having to present twice. I don't she doesn't make sense to me. And I believe the point of the character is that we are going to learn, like, I do agree with Mandy. I think she has some type of something in her past.
Well, like
but
Mel has her own issues. Everybody in that pit has their own personality traits or issues. Mel definitely has some sort of mental issue that Langdon actually clues in and understands her as a person and respects it. Santos has her own. She's very, like, it sounds to me like she got abused as a child, and that's how she lashes out and has to take control. There are certain personality traits within everything. Whitaker is just the same way. Whitaker is very intelligent, but he's very emotional for his patients.
Right. Here's what I'm going to say about, okay, because I've been wanting to get into this because I don't like her. I don't love her. She's got a lot to learn, and I think that's going to be
her journey.
Right. That's going to be part of her journey. Let me rephrase that. I'm not ride or die for her in the sense that I don't see all of the issues with her character so far. But I think why I'm willing to go to bat for her is that everybody is acting like she's not everybody. A lot of like the online chatter and whatnot. It's kind of like the whole thing with Santos. And did we not learn that lesson last season? They're acting like she's a cartoon villain and that she's just basically Gloria from the first season. And I don't see that. I don't think that she doesn't have a gut or compassion. I do think she feels she has to prove herself to Robbie. I think that she thinks she has to prove herself in general because she's moving from the VA into this emergency place.
Correct.
I do think that she's making some stupid choices right now that the journey, like Becky talked about, is going to be her learning that there is a degree of intuition that plays a part in emergency medicine, and that, you know, you can create all of these perfect scenarios you want. At the end of the day, in the emergency room, a lot of times it's just battlefield medicine. And I think that's where they're going to go with her. I think part of why she needs so much control, but I think part of why she needs so much control and she needs to believe in order is because she's had something in her past where chaos has been horrific for her. Yes. And so I think she loves her data. And also, FYI, she's not wrong. AI has significantly cut down the workload of charting for a lot of people in doctor scenarios. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. She's a little too sold on it. But I think what the journey of this season is going to be is those two learning to come together and work. Like Becky talked about, instead of going in separate directions like a cat and a dog, they're going to learn to work together. And before I move on, I just want to say one last thing. It's insane that she's wanting to implement all of this and talk to Robbie about this
in 1 hour
before he goes on sabbatical for 3 months.
After that day.
That's not very realistic.
No, it's not. You need to give it at least 3 weeks.
You're not implementing all this shit the day of, and you're not asking the doctor whose baby you're taking over, basically, to understand, hey, I'm just going to rip out everything that is your program and just completely start from scratch. So all I want to say is that I think we need to give her, I personally am giving her some grace.
I agree with you. I do agree with you. I came down on her very hard in the first episode. In the second episode, it's a two-way street. I'm as annoyed with Robbie with her as I am annoyed with her with Robbie. I don't want anyone to think I am like just hating on Dr. Al. Robbie, I wrote here in my notes, this is exactly what it says. When Mohan presents the baby's results and Dr. Al snatches the chart away from Robbie, neither one of these people are acting like adults or even trying to, it seems.
Yes.
And then, you know, Robbie, it was a cool trick with Robbie getting the baby to pee.
That was cool.
When she wanted to jump straight into more invasive procedures, she seems to be 100 by the book protocol when he wants to try less invasive approaches, like with the broccoli guy, which was a super cool shot.
Oh, yeah.
That was however they made that work. Well done.
Yeah.
By the way, I looked at Pamela's. It is real. It looks amazing. They ain't got no broccoli on the menu.
Oh, yeah.
And no broccoli. He brought that broccoli from home.
But that's my thing is it's the two of them together I don't like. Neither one of them, because she's smart. She's really smart. And I do think there are things she could bring to the table, like you said, that could help streamline. And I think Robbie's being stubborn because he feels threatened for whatever reason that she's going to just come in and I get it. We've all been the new kid. We've all been the older kid when the new kid comes in. I get it, but y'all are grown-ass people.
Yes.
So teaching other grown-ass people, act like grown-ass people. So that's how I feel about that.
I think we're closer to the same page than I thought.
We are.
I love our girl, Alex's face in that one scene. When
she was like, call ortho.
Yeah. And she's like, I am ortho. Yeah, that was great. That look on her face, like, girl.
Yeah, Alex Metz gave it this episode.
She did. I texted her right before we got on to tell her how much I am loving her in this season and to tell her that she made the New York Times in their review.
Excellent.
Really? Awesome.
I told her I would never shut up about that.
Oh, that would be my introduction. Hi, my name is Becky, and I was featured in the New York Times.
Yeah, it was a brief mention, but I mean, I told her if anybody ever talked about one of my characters in a review in the New York Times, you would never hear me shut up about it.
To add on to that, I think it's a very creative way within the writing to show that difference between these two characters, between Robbie and Al. And we're going to get that across the whole spectrum of the cast. Because you got Langdon, you got Santos, you have Mel, and you have Javati and Ogilvy. You're going to have that throughout the course of this. Now, mind you, things are going to probably come to a head come the mid-episode.
Yeah.
At least 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. or 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. And it's going to get crazy. Way. It's going to get crazy.
It's already ratcheting it up. And the last thing, Becky, did you notice that her name is like AI? Dr. Al Hashimi.
Yes. Every time I write Al in my notes,
I wrote it as AI.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I thought I was really doing something there. But yeah, that's cool that we all noticed that.
Yeah. I do want to say one more thing. It's just a funny quote. When she's getting the pee sample and she's sassing, well, the sample is likely to be contaminated. And Robbie's like, not according to the British Medical Journal. They did their research. I just loved it. I thought that was just so cute.
Research. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
But this next point, we meet our new social worker. So I'm glad that they mentioned Kiara. More great continuity, bringing up, last season. I'm very, very sad that she's not here for this shift, which means we don't get any Crystal McNeil. We miss you. But I do love that this social worker, whose name is Dylan, is played by Becca Blackwell, who is a trans actor. And I started following them on Instagram and have reached out to hopefully get an interview because I continue to love and appreciate how this show is bringing such a diverse cast every season into the show. And I liked it. I really thought that was a really cool note. So I just wanted to make sure we touched on that.
Yeah.
Awesome. I actually have a real weird quote from the first episode regarding Al, if you want to hear it. It's from Dr. Shen saying, Giant Balls of Disrespect was my band's name in high school.
Yeah, we talked about that.
We talked about that? Okay, good.
We loved that one too.
Yeah, and the admin going my nickname for my husband or my ex-husband. But I realized it's like they all had their own predisposed judgment based upon Al and how she was coming in. Yeah. And like you said, Mandy, it's like that in any job that you have where somebody comes in and they have high expectations, they're by the book, by the code, and it just doesn't work out at times. But it's like getting to know. It's like they're trying to show their bones.
Right. But the converse of that are the people that I know that refuse to change anything ever. And those people drive me crazy as well. Like the people who are just like, I've been here for 20 years, so this is how I've always done it, and I'm never going to do it any other way. And those people absolutely drive me nuts too. So like Becky said, it's a yin yang, and I'm looking forward to seeing both of them give a little bit. And I think that is going to be the journey of the season.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. I think by the end of this, we're going to be like, wow, those two really came together, worked it out. And genuinely, I do think can make this whole emergency department better. So
yeah, I agree.
I do want to talk about that bone trauma. One thing we noticed that I feel is going to be a big deal later on is when you talked about it briefly earlier, when she's showing off her AI app on her phone, and then Whitaker discovers the flaw when it translated the wrong medicine, which again makes me wonder, okay, yeah, this would be great in an office environment or something like that, but will that really work in an emergency department? Because they're still going to have to sit there and proofread every word. So is it really that much of a time saver? But I do think this is going to be setting us up for what's probably going to be a major error in patient care.
I don't know. Could be. I'm curious about that. I mean, on the one hand, I don't know. I guess it's just because I work in an office environment that is real into AI lately. That to me, it was just like a no-brainer that you're going to have to read through it. I mean, at least you're not sitting down having to write it all out.
No, it just, to me, it seems.
I definitely think
six in
like
one, half
there's a
dozen in
potential
the
there
other.
because I think that is the danger of AI. She's acting like it's just a 2% difference, and that is very fair. And she's not wrong in that it could be a fantastic tool, but that 2% error when you're talking about healthcare or human beings,
Yeah,
that means 2 out of every 100 patients that you treat could potentially have significant problems with their healthcare if there's issues that fall through the cracks.
yeah. I want to give a shout out to Mr. Brian Tishnell, medic envoy, who got very well executed line of medications and whatnot. That was just cool.
Brian, you were working the hell out of that gurney, Brian.
Yeah, killing it, man.
Your gurney work was excellent.
Amazing. And then we get that new patient whose arm bone is poking out from his underarm. Give me more.
Becky.
Give me more. I loved it.
You like the sizzling flesh? Is that what you talk?
No. The bacon grease. The guy who had his armpit, his joint was dislocated and it was
so disgusting.
Yeah, and then somebody actually had to say, what was it? I have it in my notes. It was like a really good quote. It's like, she had to pop it back in. That was really cool.
That was very cool. And that was more of Garcia being an absolute badass when they got that back. And also more of Robbie kind of showing off that this can be done without having the guy have to wait to go to ortho. So
when Alex Metz was yelling, "Come on, motherfucker!"
Exactly.
I was like, God, I bet she just enjoyed that very much. I bet that was so much fun.
All right, so next up we have Langdon and then Langdon and Mel. And did you guys know, I have to give a shout out to Diane Peters from the Pitt Forever fans for pointing out to me on our feedback post that the girl who had her eye super glued, Langdon's patient, is played by his real girlfriend, Alicia Rohrbach.
Oh, cool.
Am I the only one that noticed that she looks like Sherry O'Terry from Saturday Night Live?
A little bit, yeah.
I didn't really
Just
look,
slightly.
but I'll look next time.
I wonder if Jerry Orbach's her dad.
Yes.
Is he? I thought he spelled his differently.
Orbach is Orbach.
Yeah, hers is Roorbach.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But as you all know, Dr. Mel is Michael Cranston's daughter.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys brought that up before.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I thought that was cool that is his real life girlfriend. And it took me a minute when she was asked if Dr. J was there. I was like, who the hell is Dr. J? Here's what I think. Continuity from last season. Do you remember that young lady who came in and was using that skin cream from a different country?
Yeah.
And then it was Javati and Mohan that worked on her, right?
I think it has to be Dr. Javati.
I think she saw the streaming video of that content person, and that's why she wanted Dr. Javati. I stewed on that for a minute. Yeah.
Huh.
I kind of thought it might have something to do with that, but I definitely think Dr. J is Dr. Javati.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be.
So Langdon meets Dr. Al, and I really liked her approach with him. I've heard a lot about you. Look forward to working with you. And he looks a little bit embarrassed, but I'm guessing that if she's taking over Robbie's position, she has been well versed, unlike the rest of the staff, on what's going on there.
Yeah, I thought she was very kind.
Mel. Oh my God. Mel has
Dr.
a
King you're talking about.
17th century French woman persona that she loves to play at the Renaissance Fair.
I need to know more about that.
And
for sure.
screw that douchebag for knocking her over and not getting the rest of that story. We were robbed.
Yeah, it was all manipulation. That was literally
No, he was into her.
Yeah, no, he was a sociopath, obviously.
He was a sociopath.
But I do think he was flirting with her.
I do. That's what I mean. I think he was really interested. And I liked that line of questioning, too, because you notice Mel's answers were about, my sister,
yes.
and
she had no idea that guy was flirting with her.
But
and Boba.
It proves the point that Mel's identity is so deeply rooted in her sister that when somebody asks about her, it's automatically about her sister. So it was correct, which is another reason why I really love. We'll get to it in just a minute, but when Mel and Langdon were talking together.
Yeah, I don't think that I think I've brought this up before. I read an interview or saw an interview with Taylor Dearden last season that she was talking about. I know there's a lot of people out there that really wish that these two characters would develop a romantic relationship. I don't want that.
No,
me neither.
Partly it's because I this interview that she did where she said she thinks Mel is asexual, that she feels
I think so too.
She is, and which is a lot of people are. That is not that uncommon. And I kind of feel like that would a little bit not be true to the character, but I just thought it was funny. She's having this incredibly shitty day, and some girls, heterosexual girls, might be like, oh, this cute guy is flirting with me, and then it would be devastating that he did that shit. I don't even think it registered with her that he was flirting with her.
Well, didn't he ask her out on a date too at some point? It's like, oh, do you want to get some boba?
Not officially, no.
Yeah, not officially, but it went over her head, which makes me always think of her as kind of a little bit on the spectrum.
Oh, she's
neurodivergent for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. And Langdon knows that and understands that and appeals to that on a humanitarian level as a person.
It's the thing I like about his character.
Well, yeah. Because when Dr. Al is like, do you want to watch this or whatever procedure it is she's doing? And he looks over and sees Mel sitting next to Dana, and Dana just gives him a look, and he does not think twice. He goes straight over to Mel. And their little joke about it being an inside thing when he's like talking about the burr hole and Captain Scurvy. They're so freaking cute. But then their conversation when she's telling him, I'm glad you're back. And he's asks her if he knows why she's gone. And she seems a little nervous, but she's like, I heard rumors, but I don't listen to him. And then he just comes right out with it. It was like, I was in rehab and I thought her expression was cute. Like, oh. But I think that next to Robbie and Santos, Mel is probably the hardest person he's had to admit that to, because he does respect her. He does genuinely care about her. And I appreciate that he's continuing to show some humility when he's going through this apology tour. But I especially love the way he was with Mel, admitting that he didn't handle it right. And he let a lot of people down. And she was so sweet. It's like, you didn't let me down. Those two, I agree with you, Mandy. No, I do not want them to be a romantic interest. No. I don't think that would work. I think that would kill the beautiful vibe between them. But the fact that when he got up to leave the room, he remembered her teaching him last season that somebody needs, he saw she was getting anxious. He turned the lights out, closed the door. It just, chef's kiss.
Loved that.
Yes,
loved that.
Exactly. Same here.
That's what I want to see more of. I want to see this mentee relationship, because I think that that's also true to her being neurodivergent. That is a fairly common, having one or two people that are your quote unquote person is very typical of neuroatypical people. Like, that's a pretty common thing. And so I think for whatever reason, he is one of her people. And it's great that they're back. I think it would sully it to make it a romantic. First, isn't he married?
Well, he's not wearing a wedding band right now. I don't know.
I wondered about that.
She may have said, "Screw you, I'm out." Yeah.
Take your golden retriever.
Yeah.
Was it a golden retriever?
Golden doodle, I think it was.
Yeah.
Take that damn dog and get out.
Yeah.
Well, also, Mel, Dr. King herself, got when she was having the conversation with Santos, because Santos was going on and on and on, calling her crash and everything else. Then she starts going into this whole diatribe, and Santos just walks off, and the admin just walks in. And she goes, "Mel, you're talking to yourself again." And she's still having the conversation because she didn't realize that Santos had walked off.
That was last episode. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just saying those are like the aspects of her character that just shines through, that you realize it's like, well, it's not a burden. It's not anything. It's just who she is. But people accept her for who she is. Yeah. As well as the admin in Langdon. And they respect her and care for her.
Yeah, you can tell from that scene and a couple of the I see what you're saying. Like, it just shows that people have really kind of gotten to know Mel in that ER.
Yes. Same thing with Whitaker. They know who he is. Like when in this particular episode, Dr. Robbie, when there was the issue of the person passing away, they had a DNR, do not resuscitate. And he tells the new trainees at that point, this is a time when we have to give a moment of silence, and this is what we do here to remember them. And then Dr. Robbie just like closes the door silently and lets him go, because it was a teaching method he did from last season into this season.
Yeah, I love the continuity.
Yeah. I want to add, I did a lot of thinking about Langdon's interaction with Javati and Whitaker, and his line came off super smart ass-ish when he says, I'm going back to triage with the rest of the drug addicts. But I really thought on it. When Langdon speaks, I try to think of it as if Mandy's listening to it. And I was like,
I thought it was very melodramatic.
It was, but I think he did that
as sarcasm towards them.
No, because it was a way of him to break the ice of where he was. Like, yes, I know, everybody knows I had a drug issue. I was in rehab, and he's not as comfortable being as open with Whitaker and Javati as he is Mel, because they don't have that kind of relationship. So I saw it as, at first I was like, oh, dude, Langdon, no. But then I was like, wait a minute. I think I get it. I think I get why he did that with those two particular.
Yeah, I think that's why. I don't know. Again, it's interesting. I keep trying to like Langdon, and I think that it's just the same way. That's one of the great things about this show, with all of the different characters, for a show that is not really supposed to be about the private lives of these people. I think that they can be pretty polarizing how we as an audience react to their character. And I loved Langdon with Mel and how he did reenact that scene from season 1, where he learned how to handle people who are on the spectrum, or some people that are on the spectrum, when they're overwhelmed in the ER. I think there are some very humanizing moments of this episode, but I found that to be childish and melodramatic. I think it is exactly what you said, that's why he felt like he had to, or why he reacted that way, is that he doesn't have the same relationship with those two, but he is still supposed to be their mentor as well. And I also thought it was a little weird when he was talking to Mel and he was talking about his issues, and he was like, it never affected my work, and that's all behind me now.
Yeah, it did.
That doesn't seem like he is completely
in remission.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. And would you be?
No. I think it's realistic.
You talk a lot about giving people in this show grace. I want to ask you to please give Langdon just a little bit of grace, because he is still in this full process. He is still, he will always be recovering.
And I tell myself that. And I do see, I mean, like I said, I think I've given him as much grace as I can. I just, in general, I find him to be a smarmy character and a pretty self-involved character. But again, like he's not a monster. And I think that the way that he treats Mel and their relationship is very sweet. I think he genuinely cares about his patients. Like, he very much cares about Louis. He really wants Louis to do well.
Yeah.
And I don't know what his trauma is. Maybe if I as a, somebody who's always looking for the angle of why your shitty childhood is informing your choices, maybe if I knew more about his past, I might feel more empathetic towards him. But I just think that even this season, him coming back, there just seems to be something about him that is still very self-centered.
It's a little lacking. Yeah, I give him 70-30 on his recovery scale.
That's not
Like-
a bad, yeah.
I feel like he's come a long way since
Yes.
the Langdon from season 1, and I'm going to give him credit for that. Nobody's perfect. He never will be perfect. And he's still, your personality doesn't just automatically change because you're
Right.
sober.
No,
So,
it doesn't.
much like Santos is a cocky, confident person. I get that
especially-
same vibe with
Yeah.
Langdon. I don't think it's as much as douchebaggery, but it's just, I'm good at what I don't know. Anyway.
I will say that kind of like from what I know about ER, I wasn't a massive ER fan, but I feel like he kind of reminds me of John Carter.
Oh, yeah, a little bit.
I feel a little more Doug Ross than John
Yeah,
Carter.
well, you would be a better judge of that than
Yeah.
I would be.
But also with Santos too, with her attitude, is like it's all about her trying to impress Javati's mom and get on her good side to get whatever the hell she wants, and proving that she's smarter. And the challenge that she gives to Javati, saying, "Oh, you're supposed to be a genius. What's this, and this?" And gives Javati's so distracted.
I think she's
that
more
this-
open about it, and maybe that's why I like her better. And also, just like I said, it's probably just my own bias, but I feel like Santos is at least upfront about her motivations.
Her motivations, yes.
And her ambition and how she feels about people and her arrogance, all of that. I just feel like she's more open about it.
But I don't think she has the smarts as most of what she thinks. So it's a little pomposity within the character itself.
Well, she can definitely be arrogant.
Yeah, she's definitely arrogant about it. And that's what throws people off. And I just love how when Javati goes, well, she keeps calling me Crash. She goes, wow, Crash, it's amazing. Blah, blah, blah. And he goes, keep calling me Huckleberry. And she goes, you don't think that's a bad thing? And he goes, no, I think it's pretty cool. It's like,
yeah, that was funny. Yeah,
I thought it was really, really good and endearing for the fact that they don't mind nicknames. Javati realizes it because she's been teased and picked on all her life for being smart and having a legacy from her mother and her parents, obviously. But Whitaker looks like
he's just a sweeter person.
He's just a sweet, innocent kid.
He's just a more forgiving and understanding, and kind of just sees the world from a less cynical place than anybody other than Mel.
On the topic of Whitaker, we're going to segue on into chart notes, unless anybody else has anything they want to add to the two main points.
Nah.
So Whitaker's got Louis, precious Louis, offering to let the med students do his tap.
You think he was a doctor?
I don't think he was a doctor. I think
he's
been there so many times. He knows
could be.
the drill.
Yeah, it's just recently that I've started to think it's possible that maybe he was a doctor in his past, but it also could just be he's a frequent flyer. And it made me think about that guy that I told you about that my mom, and when they had the ambulance service, that she used to have to go get on the regular. And it was this dude that would like claw at whatever his issue was, is that he didn't like his arms. And so he would like cut his arms open and just start pulling shit out. But he could like tell you about how you're supposed to treat him. And it was like he was a regular, like did you ever see Little Shop of Horrors?
Yeah.
Remember the dentist? Remember Bill Murray's character in the movie that was like a masochist, and he was like telling him how to do all of the dental procedures? That's kind of what Louis made me think about.
Okay. I just thought it was cute and also sad that he's so familiar with these procedures. But I loved how proud Whitaker looked when Robbie tells Dr. Al that he's got it. He's doing great. Like the little flex with his stethoscope. I just thought that was absolutely precious.
Yeah, I loved how Louis says to Langdon, he goes, I'll walk them through it, meaning that he already knew.
Yeah.
About to do the tap. I'll walk them through it. It's okay.
It's so cute.
And how many liters that they had to take out of him. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that
so
was
sad.
hardcore. That was very sad. It broke my heart for Whitaker having to repeatedly tell the Alzheimer's patient that her husband is dead. And that hurt. That hit me.
It shows the truth in the real world of what people deal with when it comes to Alzheimer's. and having to go through that all the time. Now, mind you, Alzheimer's, you could die from it through neglect and everything else, but there's a physical condition regarding it. I was very grateful that they actually portrayed that properly. It showed compassion.
Yeah.
I have to give praise to the writing and the acting within those scenes, particularly because he had to do that 3 times. If you watched the episode a few times, everybody.
One of the things that I read in an article that I read about it this week was just talking about how the temperature is starting to ratchet up in this episode. And one of the things that was representing was just how every day is almost like a Groundhog's Day over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
The traumas keep coming, the tragedies keep showing up, the pain, the things that you have to, it's just over and over and over again with these doctors.
Yeah.
And this is in July, right? So it's getting hotter as the day goes by because they started off at 7 a.m. So now we're only in the second hour in the morning at this point. So it's going to get hotter.
Yeah,
for sure.
Wait until the power goes out.
Yeah. So we meet psychologist Caleb, who is played by Christopher Thornton. And he's going to admit the Alzheimer's patient until they can get her into a nursing facility. I have a question, though. Didn't she come from an assisted living facility with her husband? Could she not just go back there? I was very confused about that whole thing.
I thought they were home.
No, they were in assisted living.
Remember, he was on the roll when the nursing home patients come in. That's where he came, and she was right behind him in another ambulance. So that just confused me.
We need to clarify that for next episode, I guess.
Yeah. I was like, why are they doing this when didn't she just come from the same place that he did? Could she not just go back there? I don't know. I thought it was strange.
It might be due to the legalities within the nursing home itself, too, by the way.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But I want to give some snaps to Santos for her growth and how she passed up getting knee deep in that really freaking cool trauma to stay with her patient and help that little girl. I loved that. And I love how hard she's working on trying to help this kid. I did think it was interesting that they focused a lot with Dr. Robbie telling her and Dr. Al commenting on him telling her not to jump to conclusions. And I wonder, is this going to be foreshadowing or is it just giving us a recap of how Santos dives in head first sometimes, but she's aware now and she's working on it?
Yeah, I'm really, really interested to see where this is going.
Yeah.
Because on the one hand, part of me is like, man, they're giving her a very similar storyline to last season. But on the other hand, this may just be a way to, I'm with you. Like, I kind of feel like where they're going to go with this is that she's going to potentially jump the gun and make an accusation that isn't correct. But also, I just can't understand why that dad is not there with his daughter. Why is his girlfriend there?
Yeah.
Which leads to maybe that he's aware. I don't, but it still doesn't make sense because if he's aware that she has a medical condition that would cause her to bruise easily. Wouldn't his girlfriend know that and be able to tell the doctor? So there's no way that makes sense that dad's not there.
I'm very invested in this. I need to see where I'm
invested too.
They got me hooked in this one.
And Issa Briones looks even more gorgeous this season than she did last. I don't know how. She just looks amazing. Wow, chef's kiss to her. I really liked her this episode. Anything else on that before we get into the next chart note?
No.
I honestly, just to add to a little bit, I agree with you. I think there's something a little foreshadowing. It could be them trying to do something with Santos's history in life. Maybe this be a turnaround of like undisclosed information that we didn't know about the character. Maybe she was abused as a child. That's how she knows.
It was pretty clearly hinted last season that she was sexually abused as a child. What I don't know is this going to be a storyline that shows her growth and that she is not going to jump to conclusions
or go rogue?
Right. Or is it going to be, that she's not going to trust her gut and she's going to make the wrong. I don't know. I genuinely have no clue where they're going with this.
And I love that too.
Me too.
It's a make or break part of this character, I think.
Yeah. All right, well, let's move on to the next chart note. Mandy texted me and said, I need a chart note to be, who the fuck is this bitch? And I text her back and I was like, you're talking about Hastings. And she's like, I don't know what her name is, but it's the bitch that's obviously boning Robbie. And I was like, yep. So if you all wonder if Mandy and I are on the same wavelength, I knew exactly who she was talking about.
Well, the reason I said that is because as soon as she showed up and it was so obvious, McKay, oh my God, McKay, that is me.
That was some Emmy acting right there.
Yes.
Yes.
I love her, and she's just like picking up what they're laying down, and she ain't having it. But it was like, as soon as it was obvious that there was some hanky panky going on between her and Robbie, all I could picture was you, but like with Joy from Friday's hair.
Who's that bitch?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows about Becky's love for Noah Wiley. And so all I could picture was Becky seeing that girl and going, hell no. But that's what Dana was saying.
She did. She's like, I loved it when she was like, I know what I'm doing. I'm a big girl. And Dana's like, okay, big girl.
Because Dana knows.
Let me ask you, aside the fact that those two are obviously boning, which made me automatically strongly dislike her, but
because why?
That's my own silly. I'm not saying why.
No, not you. I'm like, because why? Why is he messing around with this girl?
I mean, get you some. You know, I don't begrudge you that, but I don't know. She was weird. But here's my thing. So I find this storyline to be interesting, not because they're boning, but she comes in to transfer the armpit joint guy to another hospital because that's where his insurance will cover it. McKay seems miffed, and I understand that. Because transferring a patient who needs surgery can be super risky. And all last season, we saw Robbie say an absolute fuck you to Gloria when patient care was put at risk to open a bed. Now he's okay with it. Is it because he's boning Noel? I don't know. It bothered me. It was not, it didn't track with Robbie's normal mindset.
I think what they're showing is that these two don't belong together at all. Like, it's a bad idea for her. Robbie is an emotionally unavailable man-child who is deeply traumatized, and he's slapping a Band-Aid on his trauma. I think that there's just little hints that you're getting all season that Robbie is healed to a degree, riding his motorcycle with no helmet.
Yep.
There was an article about that. That was intentional.
Yeah, oh, I'm sure it was.
Kind of unaware.
Yeah, I just don't think he's better, or at least he's in a different place than he was last season. But I think we're getting these little hints that Robbie is not nearly as healed as Robbie wants everybody to think he is.
It's just like Langdon. They are both traveling the exact same path, but are choosing to do it on completely opposite sides instead of together.
Yeah, that's a good point, Becky. I agree.
Or his buddy who in the beginning of the first season was riding on the rooftop.
Yeah, where's Dr. Abbott? Come on, man. We need Dr. Abbott to show up.
He's got to be back.
I know he's coming. I just
he's going to show up at the end like he did last season.
I hope he comes in sooner than that. But at any rate, I think that this relationship is another clue that Robbie is still not making the best, healthiest choices.
Fully rational choices.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they have anything in common. I think she's beautiful and convenient, and that she's going to end up and that's what Dana's trying to tell her is, you dumb chick, what are you doing? Like, you know that this is a very bad idea. They don't even seem to have similar mindsets about medicine. I think that she's just another symptom of Robbie making not so great choices.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Well, to sum up, listeners, what we're trying to say is that even the doctors that are portrayed by these actors on the show have the same issues of the patients that do come into their medical facility.
Yeah,
they have their own issues.
They're all humans.
None of us are walking around unscathed. That's for damn sure. All right, so next chart note is Javati and a little bit of Santos. I mainly put Santos in here because I wrote in the notes for the document, Santos has jokes, because she was killing me.
She was killing it.
When-
killing it. That's my favorite part.
She's like, maybe talking about the nun's gonorrhea. She's like, maybe it was an immaculate infection. I was like, stop it. Oh, Santos is killing me.
Oh man, I love that actress who played the nun too. She was in the TV show The Mist, and she's
Really?
been in a whole bunch of other shows as well. She has a skewed eye too, by the way, so her eye's a little cockeyed in movies and films.
Huh.
But yeah, they did that, and they covered the bad eye with the gunk.
I loved how Dana was getting in Santos's ass about being sacrilegious to the nun. That's so Dana.
Oh, she's like, I'm not having this.
Yes.
Watch yourself, Missy. But I thought it was cute that Santos is like, seriously, that was hilarious, and y'all aren't gonna give me that.
Yes.
And I'm like, I'm giving it to you, Santos. Well done.
That
Well
is so
done.
me and you. That made me laugh. And the immaculate infection was funny. Just that whole thing. But one of the things I want to say about that nun is her saying, "I know what gonorrhea is, dear. I'm a nun, not an idiot."
Not a numbskull. Not
Yes.
a numbskull. Yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
oh.
She was very much like all the nuns I've ever met. Just smart, funny, way less quote unquote religious than you might
I know what
suspect.
you're getting at. Stop
Yeah.
being a smart aleck.
Yeah,
She
I
goes-
don't live in a bubble. I'm a nun. I live in the real world.
and them asking her, "Hey, do you wash the sheets because it's sexually transmitted?"
yeah, that was interesting.
have
Yeah,
gloves.
Giovanni did good making
And
that.
then they wanted to provide gloves, and they were going to do that at the end to offer her gloves for her area to work
You know
with.
what I thought, Becky, is I work at a shelter, and Mark, I work at a shelter sometimes, and I'm going to be more thoughtful about
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
masks and gloves.
Oh, I'm not doing that. No, I'm definitely not doing all of that. But I
It's
definitely
just
will
wash
make
your
more-
hands, wash your
washing my
hands, wash
hands,
your
not putting my-
hands.
right, because these kids
Yeah.
do live in unsanitary. Unfortunately, it's just the reality of it that they don't have access to a lot of the things that we take for granted. So I will absolutely. It's taught me. I'm gonna be more careful about that going forward. But I loved her. I just thought that character was very much the nuns that I knew. Like
Yeah,
kind of
and I'm-
like very sweet.
Yeah, I'm glad they gave that view because of, especially Mark, you grew up cradle Catholic. Nuns
Yeah,
don't
I went to-
often, a lot of nuns don't have a good name out there. So I was glad that they portrayed one on this
Well-
show as a kind, sweet,
Yeah.
giving, charitable person.
I went to an old boys Catholic high school, so I had to deal with Christian brothers. So
Oh, you didn't have nuns. You guys didn't
Oh,
have
wait.
any nuns.
I also had to deal with, when I had to go to Catholic school and stuff like that on the weekends. You dealt with nuns just the same. The Christian
Yeah.
brothers were just as bad. But, I've seen things in that area too, because they drank a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it always takes me back to the first priest that was head officiant at the church when I was going through the conversion process, and he was an earthy man. And one of the things I loved, but that just cracks me up forever, is talking to him about how certain, like, I grew up in Protestant denominations, and some of them can be very strange and they can almost be cult-like. And he goes, "I know what you mean, hun. Really religious people weird me out." This was a Monsignor. So he was like
Exactly,
a
right?
super priest. But that's Catholicism, man. I just feel like, our priests and nuns are really a lot more down to earth than people think they are. And I
They
know
are.
that cradle, I have some friends who are cradle Catholics, and my husband is one of them, who've had some really bad experiences with nuns and priests, but they're human. And I also know some people who've had incredible relationships with really, really wonderful, because just like anybody else in the church, they're humans, and
They are.
some are better than others.
Yeah.
Well, I lost a good friend of mine who I went to Old Boys Catholic High School with, my friend Sal, and he went in to be a priest. He got to that point and he died, unfortunately, due to his heart condition because he had gastric bypass surgery. We lost him a number of years ago. It was so sad because he was so giving and he loved it, but he was always down to earth. He was always honest
Yeah.
with anybody that was right there, because I went to high school with him and he wasn't studying to be a priest at that time. He didn't go in until after he graduated college.
That's cool.
I was surprised. Bless him. He was always down to earth.
Well, that's the thing, and I know we need to move on, but I think that's the thing that is a little bit different with the clergy. They're not encouraged to withdraw from the world. They are not of the world. They have prescriptions on what they can do, but they are never encouraged to withdraw. Their whole mission is to get out with the people and be with the people.
Yes.
Not hide yourself away somewhere and act like you're better than anyone else. That's just a big part of Catholic teaching. So anyway, we'll move on from that. I'm sure that's thrilling 14 people out there as well.
Yeah, well, to sum up basically everything in the Catholicism area and everybody that's there, nuns, priests, whatever, is nothing like from a Tom Hanks book that came out about the clergy and all the suspicions that go on around it.
Yeah. It's not like what was that, the Da Vinci Code. It's definitely
exactly
not.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Last note I have for Javati is I cannot freaking wait to see what kind of party Perla and Princess put on for her birthday.
I want to go to a Perla Princess party.
Same. Perla Princess. That's like a great business name.
It really is. I just thought that we should have a mid-level marketing scheme called Perla Princess.
I think we should.
What are we selling? Skincare?
Let's talk about that later.
Lady business. All right.
Yeah. I got a plan.
Okay. All right.
All right. Next chart note, Dana and Emma. I just love this girl. I love her sweet naivety, but I love that she's not like tucking her tail between her legs and running because she's seeing some shit.
Yeah.
Like wanting to get us, where can I get these laundered? And she actually said laundered. And Dana's like, oh no, we're putting this in the incinerator. We'll get him something new. And then the cast removal. Oh, I was not prepared for that. But did you notice the look on Mr. Digby's face?
I didn't.
When he saw that. Go back and watch that. My heart hurt for him. I was like, oh my God, you could just see the embarrassment on his face. I was like, bless your heart.
I didn't. And Becky, here's why, because I was never angrier at you in my entire life. Do you know that my two biggest fears, number 2 is dementia. Number 1, maggots.
Mandy, you made me sit and watch
I don't want to hear shit about that clown.
Of a scary ass clown and some pickle dads. I don't want to hear shit about the clown. I don't feel bad anymore.
I had a maggot on me one time when I took the trash out when I was 12 years old. Part of me died in that moment, and part of me has never moved on. I almost threw up on my couch when I saw. I hate maggots. I see one on the trash, I will start screaming. And you know how like cartoons where you can't see their feet because they're moving so fast? That's what I do.
Well, I'm sorry you had to go through that, but I no longer feel bad for anything that you have to watch on this show because I made it through it. Welcome to Dairy.
It's fine. I don't want to hear shit about no clowns never again. That's all.
No, I like, what did I say? We're good. We're square.
We're square now because
eel-looking eyes that you have to cut off, and
Oh no, I can deal with that.
I don't like eye stuff. Ugh,
that was
stuff
gross.
Does bother me.
Nothing is more. And those weren't just. Oh God, those weren't just maggots. They were well-fed maggots.
Well, good Lord, the poor guys had the cast on for possibly years.
I know. By the way, they were real.
Yes.
Oh, they were real. Yes.
Those were real maggots. I looked it up.
And honestly, the stink that probably came from that cast was worse than the maggots.
Alrighty. My point was I really loved how Dana was ready for Emma with the puke bag and her little never seen that nursing school, but she did it in a very soft way, shooed Emma away to not cause Mr. Digby any further embarrassment than that poor man. Oh, and I reached out to the gentleman who plays Mr. Digby, and he has agreed to come on and do an interview with us. We haven't scheduled it yet. It's going to be a couple more weeks, but y'all, we got some good stuff coming. I'm super excited.
That was the first thing I thought of as our interview coming up, because I'm going to have to really center myself because I'm going to have to ask some questions about that whole experience.
You got time to prepare.
Yeah.
All right. So next chart note is the interns. Joy, she's starting to grow on me. She still seems aloof, but her personality is coming through more, and I like it. And I like the fact that she is constantly sassing Ogilvy because he's on my last nerve.
Yeah, I think that's where some of her nonchalance is coming from is a reaction to being stuck with that guy.
Right. I don't think that pairing, because I'd like to see them separated with different attendings and see how she is. Because when I feel like when he's in the room, she's not really, she's
down.
overshadowed. Yeah. Because he knows so much. But I do like the way this is bringing out the competitive side in Javati, and their little sparring match was hilarious. But what cracked me up the most was the way Mohan and Robbie were looking at each other. And then Robbie's like, well, this isn't just for knowledge. The spot is also for someone being a team player. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, so go be nice to Dr. Al. Like, practice what you preach, Robbie Rabinovich.
Yeah, that, like I said, like that's what I kept thinking through as the episode wore on, is that they were basically the grown-up version of Ogilvy and Javati. But it was also funny as soon as he said that they both started to show that they could be the bigger team player. They made a competition out of being a team player.
Well, she can do it.
Yeah.
It was very cute.
I think this is going to motivate Javati way more than a million lectures for her mother.
And Santos.
Ever could. Yeah, and Santos.
Yeah, because Santos kicked this off. Santos is like, you don't think he wants the same job you're gunning for, which sparked the whole thing. So,
yeah.
All right, last chart note. Giant letters. Penis time. Y'all know. I love a good penis shot, and I thought it was super cool watching them treat that.
Yeah, priapism is a really hard situation to deal with.
But I thought I loved Santos getting a "that's what she said" joke in when Mel was talking about massaging or Joy or somebody was talking about massaging the shaft to get the penis to relax.
Yeah.
Santos is like, that's what she said. So Santos was on fire.
She really was on fire this episode.
I just wrote here, sweet Emma, she's had an interesting first day. Maggots and peni.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a massive penis.
It was a beautiful penis. That was a beautifully crafted penis.
Yeah.
He was manscaped too.
Well, good.
Yes, he was. Yeah. He
definitely had anniversary.
I mean, the man took two shots. He was ready for his.
That was a lot of needles and blood coming out of there too, by the way. But even at flaccid, that man was well endowed.
Yeah, yes. he was a shower and a grower.
Yes. That was a choice. The behalf of the props department.
I loved it. I love penis.
Okay.
You do love a good penis.
I do love a good penis.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Becky had that on her wedding announcements, which seemed odd at the time.
It was in my vows. Yeah. I will honor and cherish your penis as long as your penis shall live. It was, well, you were there, Mandy.
I was there. And we were dabbing our eyes with penis-shaped handkerchiefs.
Yes, drinking out of penis-shaped cups with penis-shaped straws.
Your mother is somewhere right now getting really mad. She can sense we're talking about this, and it's making her mad. I'm sorry, Doris.
You told me about this podcast, and I was so proud of you, and now you're talking about penis.
All I hear is you talking about penis. I raised you better than that. All right. Well, that's all I have on notes and points. Do you guys have any quotes or notes or anything else that you want to discuss before we move into final thoughts?
No, I do want to say that I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with this Hanson family reunion. Shaping up to be very funny. I need to hear more about that. I do agree with the guy that got burned. Who the hell pours hot bacon grease down the stove? Becky. No, you don't.
I do.
What?
You pour the bacon grease down the sink. You take your Dawn and squirt it, and then you run hot water and turn the garbage disposal on. I don't pour it into water.
Having worked for a plumber for a while, I can tell you that if it's very occasional that you're doing that, not a bad plan.
It's
not a bad plan. If you regularly cook bacon more than once or twice a week and you're doing that, your pipes are going to get.
Oh, no, I'm talking like this happens maybe 4 times a year that I actually cook the bacon and dispose of the bacon grease.
And occasionally I'll do that because I keep mine most of the time, but every once in a while I will do that. but you don't want to do it more than a few times a year. And I will also say, doesn't sound like that's what she was doing. Sounds like she was just coming in hot, just
I think she was like pissed.
Yeah.
She's like,
Wow.
Screw this. They don't like each other, so there's something there.
Yeah, I want to hear what the scandal is in the Hanson family. Also, I noticed for the first time this week that Donnie has a spectacular mullet.
Donnie has a spectacular mullet, and I love this little bromance that we're getting with Donnie and Langdon this season.
I'm liking that too.
It's very cute.
Yeah.
Marky Mark, anything else?
Not really. Like Dr. McKay saying with her analysis like a Harry Potter spell, I'm out of here. Wizzy wizzy.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. Also, Dr. McKay, Fiona Dorp needs to sue. I don't know who made the choice that she was supposed to look like she hadn't slept in 2 weeks throughout this entire season. I know that they're doctors and they're all harried or whatnot, but they could slap some lip gloss on that lady, some concealer underneath her eyes. What they did to her is wrong.
She was in a Chucky film before this with her dad. It's okay.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
This is child's play to her.
Yeah.
You're all week. Be sure to tip your bartenders and waitresses. All right. So final thoughts. I am a yay on this one. It wasn't the most action packed or super hype, but it is much like last season. And now we know the plan is to build the story. I really liked it. I thought the visuals, the procedures, some of the interactions were all really, really, really well acted, written, the whole thing. So I give this 4.5 exposed armpit joints out of 5. Mandy?
I loved it. I love that they're layering stuff on and they're building the tension every single episode. I love that they're actually not making every single episode from beginning of the shift on through just complete continual chaos.
It's more realistic.
It's more realistic and it's not sustainable over long seasons. So I am going to give it 5 erect penises.
Giant erect penis.
Giant, massive. That thing was a Coke can.
Mark?
I definitely loved how they're giving us more character build up within this, little bit more intuitive of the characters themselves, building more camaraderie within the characters and building respect amongst the characters and a story. So I have to give it 5 of Louis' fluids in a bottle.
That's a good one.
Nice. Fox, that was a really good one. Good job.
Misdiagnoses. I actually do have one I want to mention.
I have one, but I don't remember what it was.
What mine was last week, I said something to the effect that we didn't get the reveal last season that Santos was also Filipina, and that's not true. I forgot all about that. That was a plot point. Like, I don't remember exactly what was said, but Perla and Princess were making some joke, and she answered them in Tagalog last season, and they were shocked to find out. So I was wrong about that.
Well, I had one and I could not remember it when I went to do the document. So I'll be back in probably 2 weeks when I remember what it was that I was wrong about. So
right on.
All right. Well, we got a crap ton of feedback for this episode. I think this is the most we've had since we got towards the end of the season last season. So this is exciting. Mark, you want to start us off?
Yeah, from the Pit with Noah Wiley on Mac's FB fan page, Beth Ann Johnson wrote, I know some people think that it is starting to slow, but if you go back and look at the first season, it wasn't high energy the first couple of episodes.
Yep.
I do agree. Yeah, it was a slow build-up. She continues on saying, I want to know, 1, what happens with the baby?
Okay.
Yes, that's a good question.
That is a great question. And before we move on to her second thing here, I want to say when Robbie picked up that baby, I'm pretty sure I got pregnant. So
I loved how the baby spit up in that one take at the end and they left it in. I thought that was a great choice.
And so real and so natural.
Yeah.
It makes you think about what happened last season with that other pregnancy thing.
That's exactly what I thought about, is how tragic it was. What a great dad Robbie obviously would make.
Yeah.
Especially with his the friend's son who was at that concert. Anyhow, On to number 2 that she has. In episode 1, there was a deaf woman in the waiting room. Why?
Yeah,
We
didn't
don't
get her
know
this
yet.
episode.
No, that's a part of the slow build, I think.
She's definitely coming back.
Yep. Number 3, is Robbie's quote unquote temp replacement really up to working in the ER when things get big?
We are going to find out. That is a big question, Beth Ann, for sure.
Yeah.
Great feedback there. Joanne Strobe says, love this show. I don't know how I feel about Dr. Hashimi. As you could hear by our earlier conversation, we're not sure either.
Yeah.
I think she's too much by the book. I agree. And forgets this is a level 1 trauma center. Don't know if Dr. Robbie will trust Dr. Langdon again. I think they got a way long road to get there if they do.
I think they will. I think it's just going to be like the Pit, though. I don't think you're going to get this great big hug it out moment, but I do think you're going to see those two have to work together again and get over their shit.
Yeah.
From the fan page, The Pit, Kitty Cantrell wrote, so this episode 2, I felt like I was holding my breath the entire time. It just feels like something big is coming, and I can't wait for it to happen. You're right, Kitty, same.
Mm-hmm.
And then she goes on, the preview for episode 3 looks amazing. Can't wait for them to go analog, especially for the younger doctors that probably don't even understand what analog is in the charting on actual paper. And then 2 laughing emojis.
That is funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm loving Whitaker so much this season. He's grown as a doctor, and it's very clear that Robbie is his mentor. I loved how patient he was with the lady that had Alzheimer's and her husband had died, and he kept having to give her the bad news over and over again. It just broke my heart wide open.
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt like Mel and Dr. Langdon, they just have a special bond. Like, I feel like he's going to protect her at all costs. I love how he turned the lights out and left her in the room and said something about it being noisy and bright in the ER or something like that. I can't remember word for word, but it just reminded me of season 1 when Mel was talking to the autistic fellow that had sprained his ankle. That's exactly what I thought of when he left the room and shut off the lights and shut the door. I don't think he feels romantically about her, but I'm not going to lie. That is the one couple I want to get together. I love their friendship. I just do.
Aww.
Yeah, I love their friendship. But we went over that, Kitty, and I see where why you feel that way, because they're 2 really dynamic actors and they just spark off of each other. But I'm on record as I hope they keep it platonic.
Patrice Edwards says, we're ready to go home, in quotation marks. She says, I think the wife is going to pass away at some point during the season because her husband did, with a sobbing, crying face emoji. I think she is too. I think it was mentioned broken heart syndrome when they thought she was dead, but she was actually sleeping. I don't think she's going to be long after her husband either. Man,
that part, like I said, 2 things. Dementia is my second biggest fear. So it really, like this couple to me so far is the saddest part of this season. Him dying alone was just horrific. And then now her just perpetually stuck in her memories and not even able to process that he's gone. It's just awful.
Yeah.
Well, Amy Aldred Logan wrote, thought this was super boring.
Okay, Amy, that's fair.
I mean, she's not alone. I've seen some of the comments I've read on some of the fan pages. People are not happy with how slow it's moving. But I will just say, I think we will all wish for boring in like 4 or 5 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agree.
Then you're going to be like, wait, what's going on in the scene? Oh my God, there's so much going on.
Yeah. Remember when everybody wasn't like, I don't know, bleeding out of their eyeballs from whatever disease or whatever they got in store for us coming up.
Yeah.
Via Facebook, Kimmy Hill says, love this show.
Yeah, we do too. And we love you, Kimmy. Thank you for writing in. And last but certainly not least, here is a voicemail from our friend Sam on episode 2.
How are we doing, ladies? How is pussy-eyed nun feeling this week?
Band name.
Don't take this the wrong way. I totally thought about you too when the nun got diagnosed with gonorrhea. I was like, oh, this is so much worse for them to have to talk about. Now it's gonorrhea, pussy-eyed nun.
Yeah, we got no issue with talking about the Rhea.
Rock band name for your episode.
Great minds.
And I like this. I like this season. I know there's a lot of controversy, but I really like it. And I mean, when I first found out that the nun had gonorrhea eyes, I was just like, okay, get it, sister. Maybe just make sure you're safer next time, but get it.
Yeah,
and then I
too.
found out it was completely innocent way, which makes sense. You're going to change the sheets without gloves. You're going to get it on your hand, and then you're going to touch your face because we do that so many times. And that's just an innocent way to get it. It just really made me laugh. I'm a dumbass. I didn't even think about that. And Dr. Alashimi's continuing to be a shitty ass leader. Just rolling out this AI technology is such a bad idea. I don't know if that's what causes that big computer system issue later. She's using it from her phone and trying to get other people's phones. These are HIPAA protected charts. What are you doing right now? And also, the system clearly isn't ready. And this is my problem with AI technology right now in medicine, is that it's not ready. It definitely has a place in medicine. It's going to be amazing. But these beta versions have way too many errors in them and too many issues. They're not ready to be rolled out. And they're being rolled out ahead of time for money, not for safety and, for the future. So I had a whole problem with that. And she's still being an idiot. Again, love the actress. That's nothing to do with her. She's doing a great job. But the character just really alienates me. Speaking of which, I don't know who the case manager is that is Robbie's new fuck toy. Well, let me rephrase that. They're each other's fuck toys. It's what a pet peeve of mine. This is just my thing because the actress is great. Don't introduce a female character who is just the romantic love interest or sex interest for a male character, especially a male lead on the show, without making them a full-fledged human being. Like, the reason it went over so smoothly with me, and I liked it, I liked hearing about this peripherally, is because all of the characters, like Garcia, Santos, Collins, they were full-fledged human beings before we found out who they were smashing. And so, this is just, I don't like her character. I find her boring. The two things we know about her is that she is a case manager who works with insurance and that she bangs Robbie. Robbie is not well enough to be banging anyone right now. I think one of the reasons he won't talk to Langdon, I don't even think he's aware of it, is that he's not okay. Yes, Langdon did a horrible thing. Huge betrayal. He failed Robbie. Robbie may also feel guilty. He didn't pick up on it earlier. But Robbie, I wonder if he's triggered by Langdon. Because Langdon went out and actually got help and then came back. And Robbie won't get help.
We don't know that he didn't get help.
When he was in that first episode riding in on that donor cycle without a helmet as a trauma physician, that's a little too close to passive suicidal ideation. Thank you very much. He's not okay. Now he's running away to some spiritual retreat. God, men will do anything except go to therapy.
Yes.
Yes. Therapy. It's the only way it's going to help him. So I wonder if not just that he's hurt by Langdon, but he's also ignoring his very real responsibility as a supervisor to get this all organized. And I think it's because he feels triggered and because Langdon got under his skin, because Langdon was right. He's like, you're not okay. So I'm curious to see how that plays out. People also stop hitting on your doctors.
Never.
And then he turned out to be a piece of shit anyway that hurt her. And then last thing, I totally called the maggots. I knew it.
You
Sweet
did.
Emma. And I totally knew it. I worked in a hospital in the South, and in the ICU, one of our patients had maggots in their trach tube. It's disgusting.
God.
That's
I try really hard.
We don't know that Robbie did not do therapy. That has not been clarified, correct?
Yeah.
Well, he was running from the therapist at the end, or at least the mental health. I don't know exactly what that guy's title was, but
the social worker, probably.
Yeah, you're right. But he said
he told Santos to
he
talk to
called
the
him
trauma.
Michael for one thing.
And he knew him by name. Yeah,
which makes me think they at least had some conversations.
If I had to guess, Becky, I'm guessing that he did surface work to say that he checked it off of his box, and in his head,
that was all he needed to do.
Yes, I think he's saying, "I'm all good now. I'm ready to go. I'm great. I'm doing good, and I'm making good choices." But the evidence is all over the place that Sam is right.
Yeah, Sam is definitely right. He doesn't need to go on a long vacation, smoke a lot of peyote, and get relaxed in front of a fire for a weekend, and that will get rid of his issues.
Yeah.
Right.
He definitely needs therapy.
Yeah. I think he's trying to shortcut.
Mm-hmm.
So our interview with the amazing Brian Tishnell is out, and KG Hustle via Instagram commented, "Loved it. Thank you so much, KG, for listening, and we're so glad you enjoyed it." Y'all, that interview post, when I went to check one more time for feedback before we came on to record, has gotten over 2,000 views just on Instagram alone. And for us, that is huge. And that is the biggest hit we've gotten, I think, on just one platform alone on one of our interviews. So
I'm so glad to hear that, because having listened to these interviews, go back. It's a treasure trove. It's just there's such fascinating people. Everybody that we've talked to, it's just like they have the greatest stories to tell. They've got the greatest insight in the show. So that's
great.
awesome. Brian, especially.
Yeah.
Just such a good episode, such a good chat.
So it was that I just thought that was amazing. I wanted to share and want to thank everyone so much for the support.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, thanks again for everyone for the feedback and for all the love. We love hearing from you every week. I know we went over that extensively last week, but that's the best part of this. You know, talking to you guys and the people that we've done these interviews with are definitely my favorite parts of this experience.
Same. And if you would like to get in touch with us, leave some feedback, or you just want to say hey, you can email or send us a voice message as an attachment to what's on tonight and the number 2@gmail.com.
You can visit our Facebook page where there will be a post for the next episode, and you can leave feedback in the comment section or send us a message through Facebook Messenger. We can also be found on Instagram as well at What's On Tonight Podcast and the number 2.
We would greatly appreciate it if you leave a review, comment, like, and or share your podcast listening app of choice.
So what do you guys say we go chill with Mel while she recovers, and we can talk about where else listeners can find us, podcast recommendations, TV, movies, or anything else you want to share? Mandy, you're up first.
This week, well, actually, it started last week, and they'll continue it this coming up Friday. But the last podcast on the left guys are doing the Murdoch murders right now. It's very interesting.
Okay, that I will listen to.
Very interesting. If you guys are at all interested to hear how in certain pockets of the South we never moved on from the Civil War, and how one family was basically able to keep this county hostage and its own personal little principality for over 100 years. It's a lot deeper than just drug methed out Santa, which is what I think Murdoch looks like, Doug, whatever his name is. Yeah. So that was cool. And I think that's about my only recommendation for this week. That's about all.
Mark?
Well, I highly recommend, if you guys are out there and you have Netflix, check out the movie The Rip with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck.
Oh, Eric's watching that.
It's amazing. It's really, really well written. If you are liking like a thriller, something that is spent or revolved around police work, it is like very investigative. It's really cool. I just laugh at the fact that you get to see Ben Affleck's back tattoo a little bit.
The terrible one everybody gives him a hard time for.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's funny.
But the rest of the cast is amazing, and the show is very, very good. I highly recommend everybody, if you haven't, go check out Strange Indeed.
Yes.
If you watch Stranger Things this past season, the last and final season, check out Strange Indeed and their coverage of this last season. It can be found on Podcastica. I'm also looking forward to covering at the end of the month Wonder Man on Panels to Pixels podcast when that comes out, as well as Monarch: The Legacy of Monsters. That's going to be on Apple TV Plus. I'm looking to do that. I'm not sure exactly if it's going to be on Wilhelm, Podcastica, or Pyrocore. If anything, we will still have it on Pyrocore.
Awesome. Well, I'd like to remind everyone to please check out the They Did What podcast with Kelsey and Jen. They're really doing such a great job. Their latest episode, Mandy, you should tell Eric to listen to this one. It's an episode covering the documentary We Beat the Dream Team, which highlights a 1992 scrimmage where a group of college players beat the most famous basketball team ever assembled. It is such a fun, if you like sports, even if you don't like sports, the way they cover things is so great. But it's just a great podcast. So please give them a listen. You can find them on Spotify under They Did What. You can also find them on podcastica.com. And for movie recommendations, I told Brian that I would rent his movie, The Mother, The Minister, and Me, and it was great. So I highly recommend checking that out, starring our very own Brian Tishnell. It's a fun watch. And I want to give a big thank you to the man with us today, Mr. Marky Mark, and his Pirate Core Funky Bunch for giving us this platform. Please visit the Pirate Core website. Mark, you have done such a great job on that. We are so proud of the work you've done, and thank you for doing all that and including us with it. You can find the link on our Facebook page, and on the website, you can find our podcast as well as other podcasts like Dinner for Her with our very own Mandy, Panels to Pixels, and Adrenaline Cinema podcast, and other projects that Mark is working on.
Yep.
Well, that wraps up our coverage of episode 2 of season 2 of The Pit. We've got some great guest hosts and interviews lined up, as Becky hinted at earlier. You just don't even know, guys. I'm so excited. We've officially scheduled a chat with Gavin Breivik, who creates the music for the show, and Shane Hartline, who played Ryan, the father of the drowning victim in season 1. So y'all stay tuned, and we're going to be back next week to cover episode 3, titled 9 a.m.
Thank you, everyone, so much for listening. The human spirit is stronger than anything that can happen to it. Please remember that when life starts to feel too much. Y'all got this. I'm Becky, and I love penis.
I'm Mandy, and I have no follow-up to that. Was not expecting another declaration, but
I just felt like everyone needed to be reminded.
And I'm marking. Hold on, I got to check. Yeah, I still got one. Yeah, I have a penis, everybody.
Yay!
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 We'll catch you next week when we grab the remote and see what's on tonight. Bye!
Bye.
We are idiots.